And welcome to the starting lineup. It's the inaugural episode, the first episode of this brand new show hosted by me, Arnav Sarkar. We've got Kapil Nathan and Jitesh Ramakrishnan. Those are today's starters, and I'm really excited. It's been something that I've been working on for a few months with the preparation. I'm trying to find co-hosts, which I have right here, and the theme of the show. A lot of things have come together in the last few days, weeks, months to be able to put this on the air. Um, we're going to be putting this on Spotify and YouTube actually every week. So it's going to be on Tuesdays around this time slot, and then we're going to post shortly after, no later than tomorrow for sure. Um, so since this is the first episode, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name's Kapil Nathan. I'm from UAB, and I'm excited to get to work on this podcast. I must admit, I've never dreamed of doing this, so this is a new opportunity, one that I'm excited to be, one that I'm excited to be a part of, and one that I hope will be very successful later on. Thank you.
Yep. And you did, Josh?
Yeah. All right. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's get the ball rolling. I'm a tortured sports fan like the rest of you. So this sporting podcast will definitely have its highs and lows for me. So let's see where we go sports wise.
Mhm.
Yep. And I'm Arnav Sarkar. I'm a student at Rutgers, also like Jitesh. I was formerly at the business school. I'm transferring to do a sports journalism major with a business administration minor. It's been a lot of big changes for me. I'm part of WRC Sports, where we do another podcast, WRC Crew, and definitely give that a listen. It's a great show. I'll be on it. I am on it twice a week. A lot of other great people who are trying to pull guests from as well. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm a huge Rutgers and New York sports fan, so that could be pretty popular around here. It can also be kind of divisive, and I'm looking forward to the new beefs that we're gonna have on this show because that's
Mhm.
been one of the most fun things for me on the crew. So with that, let's get started now that you know the starters of this show.
Yeah, the NBA draft lottery, as you can see, I think Mark Tatum just walked onto the stage. I'm getting ready to announce the lottery. Um, so who do you think is probably the best team fit for Wembenyama?
It
I think
doesn't matter right now because the team sucks either way. I mean, I think personally it'll go to the Magic because they're what, like the lottery draft champions 2 years in a row now. So
I
I
think
don't
though
know.
the best team fit for like his development and everything would probably have to be the Spurs. They have a Hall of Fame coach over there, and he has this knack for developing those type of players.
Yeah, that Greg Popovich guy, I think he's fairly decent at coaching. Yeah, I'd say the same thing. He drafted some guy named
Oh, we have
Tim
a
Duncan.
shocker. Oh my God, the Magic have the 11th pick.
Okay,
Wow.
Wow.
well,
That will almost certainly put them out of contention for Wembenyama. That is a shocker.
guess they're not repeating
Ah.
champions this time.
That's cool. Yeah. So I think it's probably Spurs, Rockets, and the Pistons. I still think the Spurs would probably have the best chance of getting him and then developing him into the star player that you expect to see.
Yeah, Pistons had the number one overall, what, 2, 3 years ago? They drafted Cunningham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They drafted Cade Cunningham, and he's been good. He has a lot of room to improve, and I think him and Wembanyama would definitely be a really good duo in this league together.
They're probably got higher prospects than Zion right now. All he does is get paid to just get fat and do nothing.
Yeah. Um, number six pick. Oh, the Magic have the sixth pick too. So
Oh,
unless
that's right from the Bulls trade, right?
the Bulls trade, yeah. So 6 and 11. I don't know. You're gonna have to package that up to me. Oh, the Pistons. They are fifth. So that's gonna put them out of contention for Wembanyama at this point too. So the top four spots are left. Looks like Houston, San Antonio, Charlotte, and the Trailblazers.
Well,
So
Houston's done a good job of playing
Houston,
terrible basketball
yeah.
this year.
But in that same time, though, They got Jabari, and now they have Ime Udoka. They have a coach who can take them all the way to the finals. They've so long they wanted to do. As a Celtics fan, I admire that hire, and that's good. He's excelled in developing young talent. So I think if they could get Wembanyama, it would be a pretty dangerous combination. But you just love to see how Udoka would just kind of put him into the starting lineup and see how he can just move Wembanyama around to see how he can dominate and find out what position he can truly play best.
Well, he's like 7'5" and shoots three. So like, I mean, he's
He's
gonna
one of
be.
he's one of those players that can really play any position. He's just like, he's a true Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
Like,
but a point guard at 7.5 feet tall is quite stupid.
it is stupid. You admittedly like to see, a little bit. Thing is, he's really lean. He's not that, built. And
Yeah,
I
but
think
can you imagine Joel? Can you imagine Joel Embiid running as a point guard? I mean, that'd be quite ridiculous.
it would be ridiculous. And frankly, what he's doing right now at center is also ridiculous. These are players that take up space and space and space, and they just kind of box you out. And him, Jokic, those are the premier players in the league right now. You
I don't know.
can't.
Embiid didn't seem to take up that much space on Game 7 the other day.
He didn't, and those are, and that's as a Celtics fan. Joe Mazzulla developed a perfect game plan for Embiid, right? And we saw every other time, right? Embiid would dominate. I mean, like in the other playoff matches, it takes a lot of scheming for Embiid and a lot of luck too for Embiid for players of his caliber just to not show up one day. And I don't know if that's
And
scheming, I don't know if that's coaching, but
and speaking of no shows, let's not forget good old James Harden. Nine amazing points. Tobias Harris had more points than him. Tobias Harris. That's quite pathetic, James.
Harden's player option, if he was smart, I think he would decline it. I mean, it's fair right now. Philly doesn't want to commit to him. They just fired Doc Rivers. They have a lot of questions to ask themselves this offseason.
Yo, after seeing how terrible he's played and how much quote unquote defensive effort he's shown, who the hell would pay him that much money? Like he's not worth that much at this time right now. He's
Yeah,
old, injured,
he's
and he
nowhere.
sucks, and he's a playoff choker.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I think probably the only thing for him to do is go back to Houston right now. They're gonna get one of the top 4 picks in the draft, and that's almost if it's not 4, they're gonna guarantee to either get Brandon Miller, Wembanyama, or Scoot Henderson. All of those are very, very elite prospects, and teaming Harden up, that's a good. He might not be as dominant as he would, but he's a good mentor to whoever they decide to draft or whoever.
He's also an amazing ball hog too. So
Ball
we'll
hawk.
see what happens.
He's Wembanyama. He hasn't played that much a competition. Let's be fair. He hasn't played, the type of competition that perhaps does at Alabama. So if Harden can develop him, if Harden and Ime Udoka could help develop him, this league would be over. It frankly would. He's such a good player already. He just needs a little bit more work, and Harden can do that best.
Until the playoffs come.
Until the playoffs come, correct. But
Yeah.
even at that point, right? Harden, he doesn't have a few years. He doesn't have that many years left in him. He doesn't have 10 years left in him. What he does have is a good set of skills that have made him a very good player over the years. I mean, he might not be as good as he was earlier in his career, but he's still pretty good. He's very inconsistent. We saw game 1 how he completely, carved up the Celtics. 45 points, the game winner. If he can just do that more consistently, and he can do that with Wembanyama, it's going to be tough. And let's not forget about the Thunder too. The Thunder, while they obviously didn't get one of the top picks, they have 15 first-round picks over the next 5 years. That is absolutely absurd.
I mean, it's crazy because
it's any sport, really.
2019 when they had the 2019 when they had the massive fire sale and everything.
Yeah.
Shipping off all those picks and everyone else. We thought that'd be one of the worst teams ever, and then they're able to sneak into the playoffs during the
Oh,
bubble.
speaking of, Houston has the 4th pick, so the Thompson brothers are good. Either of the Thompson brothers are right there. The 3rd pick belongs to the Trailblazers. So imagine Damian Lillard and either Scoot, Brandon Miller, or Wembanyama.
So it's the Spurs and
And
who else contending
Wembanyama.
for the one?
Oh my God, the Spurs got Wembanyama. As I said, that is the best place it could land. The Spurs are gonna win the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, and
Okay.
Greg Popovich is gonna get a Hall of Fame
Wow.
player.
Think about
That is
like
incredible. He
over
is
the span of 25, over the span of like 30 years now, the Spurs have had 3 dominant centers:
and
David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Victor. I'm not even going to pretend
Wembanyama.
his last name.
Wembanyama.
They have
Close enough.
the Spurs are probably the smartest organization in the league. They know when to play well and when not to play well. And this year they knew that they didn't have to play well because they knew they'd be getting their choice of Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, or Victor Wembanyama. And now what they would do, either they take Wembanyama at 1 or you trade down. And if you trade down, you're gonna get a king's ransom. And like I am not taking, that I'm not. That's not figurative. They might quite literally get almost anything and everything they wanted for teams that wanted to trade up and get that player in Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a huge move.
So yeah, should the
They landed
Spurs?
the number 1 pick.
I
Generational
doubt the
prospect.
Spurs. I doubt the Spurs will trade down. I
I doubt
highly,
them
highly
either.
doubt
But
it.
at the same point, you have to look at the state of their roster and the state of their team, right? I mean, like they are not a good basketball team at this point. If they trade down, right, they have a good chance at getting a lot of decent and good players. I mean, would you rather have one ultra superstar player, or would you rather have 5 really, really, really good players on your team?
I don't know. Sometimes one superstar player tends to work out, and then after a couple of years, that superstar player goes, and then you're back in the basement. So
Indeed.
we'll see how it goes.
I agree. And speaking of superstar players, there's going to be a few that are squaring up tonight in Denver. So who we got tonight? I think tonight the Denver Nuggets are going to win this game tonight. I think they've just been, really good against the Suns, and they're just really dominant. They're going to take game 1. What about you, Arnav?
Um, yeah, I agree. I think the Nuggets are gonna take game 1. They're gonna play in Denver, their home court. Nikola Jokic is playing great, so is Jamal Murray. For the series, though, I actually do have the Lakers
I
because I
have
just
the
feel like,
Lakers as well.
yeah,
Darvin
but I
Ham,
feel they're gonna
Darvin,
start slow and then they're gonna win later in the series because it's just gonna be hard to stop LeBron, AD, who's they're both playing at a really high level right now. Anthony Davis
And also
is
when
at
they
a
have the
high
commission,
level.
and also when they have the commissioner in their back pocket, it's also not that hard to win the series.
But in reality, Darvin Ham's coaching adjustments are impeccable. I mean,
Yeah.
at 27 points down against the Mavericks, what does he do? He makes those adjustments and they come back to win, even with LeBron suffering that pretty bad injury. Now we saw against the Grizzlies, right? Grizzlies take a game or 2 on their home court and in LA, right?
Well, I mean,
No,
with the Grizzlies, Ja Morant shot the Grizzlies out the game. And speaking of Ja Morant shooting, I think now he's going to shoot himself out the league.
I
Oh boy.
agree.
Yeah.
He's got to.
That's not great.
I mean, personally, he's got the Idiot of the Year award for me, Ja Morant.
I can't believe he did that after the first suspension. Like, he
Right.
just didn't learn.
He's already lost out on $40 million by not getting voted to an an all NBA team. Why are you willing to lose 195 million more dollars? It makes no sense to me. Now,
You'd think his camp would at least have a little more. I mean, like, I think the smartest guy in that video right there was his best friend and the driver, because once he saw Ja pull the gun out.
Oh yeah, he turned the video away immediately.
Yeah, no, he's the smartest guy in that car, but that's not really saying a whole lot. That's saying more about the stupidity of Ja Moron.
Yeah.
Not Ja Morant, Ja Moron.
Ja Moron. I completely agree.
How stupid can you be? Really? Like, what are you
It's
trying to do?
unbelievable.
Like, are you trying to be broke in 3 years and like not have a career anymore, and then you want to work at Walmart for the rest of your life? Like, what are you trying to? No disrespect to Walmart.
To be fair, he doesn't have to work at Walgreens. He can always go play for the Guangdong Tigers. There's always that opportunity, and I'm sure his teammate
Get the
Dylan
memes writing.
or
his
He could go with Dwight Howard. I think he's playing in Taiwan.
I mean, would you rather choose to play with Dwight Howard in Taiwan, or would you rather choose to play with your teammate Dylan Brooks in China?
Well,
I mean,
Dylan Brooks is not getting brought back. Shams said that.
Sham said that, and I find that very, very believable. It's honestly stupid what Dylan Brooks did, and that's the reason why the Lakers have probably the best chance to win the NBA Finals right now, behind the Nuggets. And as a Celtics fan, it pains me to say this, but I would, either the Lakers or the Nuggets are going to be no easy task. They are. It's just both those teams are really, really good, and Darvin Ham's adjustments, I'm just scared of him. He does a really good job. He gets, he loses in Memphis, and then on the last elimination game, he holds Memphis to 80 points and and Dylan Brooks asked it. He said, "Come and drop 40." Darvin Ham did that. He made the necessary adjustments, and the Lakers won by 40.
Well, that's because Dylan Brooks can't. That's because Dylan Brooks can't put his money where his mouth is.
Indeed, and so I have the Lakers winning in 7. It's
that's my pick too.
I got Denver in 6, assuming the league isn't rigged, which it definitely is, because the Lakers will probably go to the West. Will probably go to the finals.
But assuming it isn't rigged, it's not rigged.
How can you say that for sure?
Okay, but let's just assume that everything plays out the natural course of action.
I still have Denver in 7 then.
Denver in 7 is not a bad.
I could see it. I'm not going to count the Nuggets out.
I'm not counting the Nuggets out.
I'm just kind of. I mean, I just think it's going to be too much. It's not just LeBron and AD. It's also their supporting cast. Like Austin Reeves is playing really well right now. They got Roy Hachimura. I really like D'Angelo Russell's game too, and Lonnie Walker. So
Lonnie Walker.
Quite the bench that the Lakers have to support LeBron and AD right now.
Yeah, because LeBron needs that much help. It's sad.
Right now, it's not that LeBron needs much help. It's that
yes, he does.
LeBron. It's just that there are certain players in the history of sports that other players just want to play with. I mean, like you saw Tom Brady, you saw how so many and you saw Mahomes. You see how so many players want to just come and play with him, and that's also the effect that LeBron has as well. He needs a lot of
until he trades them away.
Until he trades them away.
Yeah.
A lot of players just want to come and play for him, and what they're doing is they have a lot of good players playing with him right now. If you're gonna shut down LeBron, deal with AD. You want to shut down both of them? Deal with Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, deal with D'Angelo Russell. It's not an easy task. I mean,
the thing with Davis is that he puts up points in the first quarter and then disappears on the points board, but he does grab rebounds.
You don't need to put points to be a good player. You need to play where it matters.
I don't know, for some dude who has like $180-something million contract, I'd at least expect some points on there.
I mean, you have to expect some points, right? But a man of his effect, right? He is a space eater, just like the Wembanyama. He gets into that paint, and he is absolutely. You can't move him easily. I mean, like Jokic, and that's probably going to be our next topic, right? How are you going to get Jokic to match up on AD in a way that Jokic gets an advantage, or in a way that AD gets an advantage? That's the question that's going to determine the series. Are you gonna, how are you gonna move AD? How are you gonna move Jokic? Whoever answers that question,
exactly,
wins the series, and it's not gonna be close.
Yeah, because if one player can't guard the other in the paint, then that team's gonna I guess lose, because whichever team dominates in the paint, whether that's Jokic or whether that's Anthony Davis, that can go a long way in deciding the series.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be an easy fight for either team, right? They both know what's on the line, right? That's why I think that the Lakers, they're probably more built for this moment. I mean, like at the trade deadline, this team was 2-10. They were 8 games below 500, and to make it all the way from there to even making the play-in is a big feat.
It's amazing what you can do when you get rid of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that Russell Westbrook, he wasn't a fit for the teaming up with James. He might be a fit on it by himself, but we just can't.
No, he's a detriment to every team he plays on. He's nothing but a liability. He's ruined a lot of great teams. OKC, Houston, Lakers. I mean, I can't really say he ruined the Clippers. Oh yeah, the time he was on the Wizards for 10 seconds, and then the Clippers can't really say he ruined them because he was the only one who was actually like trying to put in some effort during the first round.
Mhm.
But still, you can't count on Westbrook. You never could,
You
you
can't.
never
Let's
can,
rephrase
and
that.
you won't ever be able
Let's
to.
rephrase that. You can't count on him at this point of his career. I mean, at his prime, yeah, nobody's guarding him. But now, you can like, if you're in a zone defense, right? You can just, casually ignore him and hope he doesn't, somehow get into the paint or something. If you leave him from beyond, 15, 20 feet, you're fine.
Well,
We
yeah,
want
the 3-point line is Defensive Player of the Year against Westbrook.
I agree. And
That's
speaking of
that's one way of saying it.
Same with Ben Simmons. Well, then again, a traffic cone could guard Ben Simmons because he can't shoot the damn ball. He's a coward.
speaking of 3-pointers, the Lakers and the Celtics and the Heat. And
Yes,
that is
That's going
honestly
to be
that's
one
gonna
tough
be
bet.
huge. Yeah.
as
I
a
mean,
Celtics fan, I hope Celtics in 6, but I do realize that beating a team like the Heat, which is, energized, is not going to be easy. Probably
no,
Celtics in 7. That's what we predicted for the Sixers series. I think Celtics in 7.
I
Jitesh?
mean, yeah, but like going back to the Sixers series, that should have been a sweep.
It
But like,
should.
it
Boston
really
was
should have.
Boston was
Oh,
the better team. We agreed. Everybody agreed from the beginning.
yeah,
Hmm.
but
It's just
going to the Heat series right here. This is not going to be an easy matchup either way.
it's not.
I
It's
would
not.
argue that this would be tougher than Lakers Nuggets. I really would.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Because
could
both
see.
these teams on paper are, rather even, but I think the Celtics have an advantage here. But like, they have they're much younger and they know how to play. They know how to play the way that this league is transitioning to, which is more of a shoot and hit threes league.
The
And
first the first key to this game is limiting Jimmy Butler because you're not going to stop him.
for the
If you
Celtics,
can hold Butler to
hold
somewhere
them
around
to
20 to
20.
25 points,
I
that's a win
completely
for the Celtics.
and not and that's per game. You're not going to hold him to 20 points throughout the entire series. Nobody can. You're going to hold him to 20 points per game, and you're going to get these players like Al Horford. You're going to get Jason Tatum. You're going to get Jalen Brown, and you're going to ask him to keep shooting threes. That's what Joe Mazzulla did on Mother's Day. He
Ta-
made it a way where Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown had those opportunities to get open and shoot threes. And
yeah,
in the end,
even if you paid Tatum to miss, he'd probably still make it.
he'd
Like
probably
during Game
still
7,
make it.
he
Yeah.
could not
He's
make.
But
right.
who's the most clutch player, Butler or Tatum?
Hmm.
That's hard.
I mean,
I
Tatum's
mean,
had his
it's
clutch
I
hard.
would say
moments.
Butler,
It's
but I mean, I don't
it's
know
hard to
how Tatum will
argue
get hot
against. It's
very
hard to
late.
argue against Butler at this point. But at the same point, it's also hard to argue against Jason Tatum. As a Celtics fan, I'm rather biased, but at the same point, I do think JT is probably the more clutch player right
See,
now.
here's what I'd say. Tatum's had his clutch moments, like Game
Agreed.
6.
Game
Game
7.
6.
Mhm.
Game
No,
6. That's the changing point.
no. Let's
Yeah.
first talk about Game 6.
Agreed. Yeah.
That the last 5 minutes of that, like
Extremely clutch.
what was he before that last
Those
5 minutes?
are
Like 1 for
those are
14.
He was
that
not
is
like
one of the
making anything, and then he
that
started
was
making everything, and then that's what got the Celtics
Yeah,
over the hump. And then
that's
game
what first.
7, he dropped like 50,
But
so 51 actually.
there's other clutch moments Jason Tatum had prior to that. You remember you remember last year, Arnav, Game 1,
last year.
the
Last year's game
Net
one,
Celtics,
obviously.
that game winning layup.
Oh, that's painful. I'm still not
Uh,
over that sweet, so that's part of the reason I'm saying Heat in 7, but also Jimmy Butler. So I mean, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah,
That
I
was quite
think
the clutch play.
but let's not forget about Butler. Let's not. I'd say Butler's first pivotal clutch moment. You guys remember Raptor Sixers Game 7?
I
He
do.
was the one who made that
Mhm.
game tying layup before Kawhi's shot defied physics.
Yeah. Um,
Right,
and
yeah.
it's just at this point, I just think Tatum is performing so much well. So I'll take Tatum
I
right
don't
now.
know. I
Right
mean,
now.
I don't think you can count out Butler. That man,
I'm not
that
counting. I'm
man.
He
not
could
count.
will their
It's
team
not.
to the
It's
finals.
not. It's not. I'm counting him out. It's just that I think like the Celtics on paper are much better. Like
That's
they
that's
like
true.
after
That's the problem with the Celtics. On
yeah
paper,
after
they're much better, but
Mhm.
on the court, they tend to suck at the most inopportune times.
well
Game
that was in the
game
regular
one.
season. I agree.
No.
That
Game 1 against the Sixers. Game
Mhm.
5 especially. And then let's not forget about the Hawks. They laid an egg against the Hawks in game 5.
Yeah,
And
but
then
at the same point, right? Those I think Joe Mazzulla has got that figured out. I meant like I honestly did not think he might be the answer, but after the All-Star break, I really love to appreciate him, and I think he knows how to play those close games. When like we saw game 1, he made the adjustments, and look at what happened in game 6, right? It's an elimination game. You're in Philly. No one wants to be in Philly, especially for postseason in any sport.
Mhm.
To be there for
I know
you know
that. Yeah,
exactly.
the Giants.
You do not want to be in Philly for a postseason game, no
it's a
matter
terrible city, anyways. I
it's
don't care what Philadelphia fans say. It's a
Exactly.
terrible city.
but the point is you're down on the road in the elimination game in one of the most hostile sports cities, and you found a way to win and bring it back to your own home court. You gotta admire that. And that's why Celtics and then Lakers hopefully in the finals. I meant like there's a lot of rigged comments, but if they do match up, the Lakers are just much better at this time of year. They have their stuff figured out, and as a Celtics fan, it pains me to say this, but the Lakers would win in 6.
No,
Or
they
the
won't. No. You ain't a Celtics fan. Stop that nonsense talk right now. The second you say that, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear a damn word about you saying you're a Celtics fan.
I would love for the Celtics to win, but if we play, a stacked Lakers team, I don't see a way which we win. We might be good, but we might win in 7. That's probably it. Wouldn't take, it wouldn't be, better than that.
I mean,
Lakers,
either of
Celtics,
these conference final series, minimum they're going to 6.
they're going to
Minimum.
6. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure,
And
for sure.
and that's the good thing, you have more time to figure out your opponent for the finals. Either way, say, the Nuggets win in 6, right? You're gonna have, an advantage immediately. And, you're gonna have to be able to, use all that time to devise a game plan to shut down, the Celtics. The Celtics should be favored in this series for a very good reason. But they're inconsistent at best. They're inconsistent at worst, and a machine at best.
Yeah, I would say like between the two teams, the best player on the court would be Butler, but the better team overall, hands down, the Celtics.
Oh yeah, and superstars can't necessarily win games all by themselves. So that's
Except for Jimmy Butler.
ex-
Yeah.
except for Jimmy Butler. And after Victor Oladipo's injury, he's taken on a new role, and that's why I'm so scared of him right now. But I do think the Celtics will, take this series. It's not going to be sweep by any means. It's hard to win in Miami, and at best in 5 or 6, hopefully.
No, we can 5 as a pipe dream. 5 as a pipe dream. It's
5.
going to be 6 or 7.
It's going to be 6 or 7.
Yeah, it might be
if
like last year's series
if we
where
can if
it
we
might
can
be like
finish it up,
7.
if we can finish it up in 5, that would be incredible. That gives us more time to prepare, and
Yeah.
face
Well,
it.
I think we got to stop thinking about that. Just look at it as one game at a time.
One game at a time. I agree. That's what Joe Mazzulla is probably going over right now.
One game at
He
a
has
time.
another day to get everything in order to see how if he limits, Victor, if he limits Jimmy Butler and he limits Bam Adebayo, you're not gonna. Who else are you gonna turn to? I mean, like there aren't.
Lowry?
I mean, yeah, but at the same
They
time,
have
right?
some bench
Uh,
pieces, but like I mean, they have Lowry. They have Max Strus, Gabe Martin. They've been playing well. Duncan Robinson's kind of come back to life a little bit. I mean, it's not just Jimmy Butler and
but like at
Adebayo,
the
I
same
guess,
point, the
but
Celtics have the
yeah,
depth. The Celtics have the depth to count.
Celtics have
Not
way more depth with like Jason
Celtics not
Tatum,
only have the
Brown,
depth to
Smart,
counter
so
that,
many
but
other guys.
the Celtics
And
not
then
only have the depth.
let's not forget old man Al Horford, locking down
Al
Embiid
Horford has
as
probably
he's been
been
doing for the past 5 years.
And Robert
uh,
Williams, they
Al
call him the Time Lord. So I mean,
Al
he's been great
Horford
as well.
Al Horford definitely, he's probably right now the most underrated player right now. I mean, like I know a lot of, I mean, in the playoffs, in the remaining playoffs, he's easily the most underrated player because I mean that's the MVP. I mean, like all jokes aside about him getting tossed in the second round, he's the MVP. I mean, like I don't know if he deserved it. I mean, that's definitely a hindsight question, but locking up a player as dominant as Embiid, you can't just throw a body at him. But you could if you were Joe Mazzulla and Al Horford. Al Horford had the means, he had the will to do it, and he successfully did it. And that's
Yeah.
Celtics.
No, I agree. That was huge. And the Sixers should be officially known as the Philadelphia second round exits because they seem to not be able to get past that every single year. And I'm happy to
I
see
mean,
it after they swept the Nets.
the way I see it, the Philadelphia 76ers are just the Eastern Conference Clippers.
Mm.
Yeah,
And that
kind
might
of.
agree.
Yeah, because they
They're-
also
they
like
are-
they're
kind
it's just
that
yeah,
kind of might be that kind of might be an insult to the Clippers. I don't know. Kind
and
of
Philly
might be.
just and the Sixers just fired Doc Rivers, who also was fired
So
by the
yeah,
Clippers. So
that could be our
similarities.
next topic. So let's go on a rapid fire round, okay?
Yeah,
Let's just name a team.
I kind of
And
wanted to do some like
so
NHL, because we also have conference finals in that.
Mhm.
If you guys
Yeah.
want.
And that's something I'm going to talk about far more than basketball because the National Hockey League is way better than the National Basketball
I
Association.
kind of disagree, but I mean I follow
But
both.
what we could do right now is a rapid fire round.
Yeah, let's do a rapid fire for the last 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna name a team, and I'm gonna tell you, and I want you guys to tell me who should be the next coach of that team. All right. So who should be the Suns' next coach? Arnav. Let's see what you.
Um, I really don't know. I mean, maybe like Budenholzer. I mean, I don't know. They're the team
Jitesh.
that beat him.
All right, Jitesh.
I can see Vogel.
You can see. I personally think Mike Budenholzer.
No,
He's been
I
to the finals and he's won it. He
Yeah, I
knows
don't
I
think
think
any of
I
these
think
guys
Monty
got
think
deserved to be
no,
fired, but certainly not
I think
Budenholzer.
Monty's gonna go. I think Monty's gonna coach the Sixers. I could see that
I
happening.
could see that happening too.
Okay. All right. What about the Bucks? Who are they going to hire? They're 2 years removed from an NBA. They're 2 or 3 years removed from an NBA championship.
You
And
think they're gonna
trying
hire
to-
the Raptors dude? What's his name? Nurse?
Nurse
Nick Nurse. I could definitely see
could
that
happen.
Look, Nick Nurse. He knows how to win. It's just unfortunate how the play-in went for him this year, right? And
And also,
definitely
Nurse
see
was the one. Nurse was the one who coached the Raptors to lock down the Bucks. But then again, they had some guy named Kawhi Leonard when that happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you think fits the Raptors agenda best?
Literally have no idea. Literally have no idea.
I mean, who's gonna be left if all those other guys are already gone? I mean,
yeah,
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean? It
yeah,
might be Doc
Rivers.
Rivers at that
He's
point.
not
Yeah,
Monty-
exactly.
You have Monty Williams. I mean, it's not that he's a bad coach.
No, he's going to
But
Philadelphia. He's
yeah,
not going to Toronto.
Okay.
It could be Doc Rivers at that point. I mean, or
You know,
Could be
maybe
Doc-
someone
it'd
else.
be real.
Doc
You know, it'd
Rivers.
be really funny if the 2021 coaches did a swap. So like Bucks was coached by Budenholzer, Suns was coached by Monty. What if Buden went to the Phoenix, and what if Monty went to Milwaukee?
That'd be
kind
really
of funny.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think
very
that,
unlikely, but
you know, Nate McMillan definitely deserves 1 or 2 looks. I meant like I know he got fired by the Hawks, but he definitely deserves another shot somewhere. I don't know where he could fit in, but he definitely deserves another shot somewhere.
maybe he'd be a decent fit for Toronto.
I'm thinking so too. I meant like, every team that look, the Suns and the Sixers are rather similar, all right? They have 2 superstar players. Okay. One is definitely past their prime, but they're still good. And you have to hire similar-minded offensive coaches. Otherwise, you're not going to do well. You just can't hire a defensive coach. You're going to have to hire an offensive coach to succeed right now.
Well, the problem with the Suns right now, aside from their history of getting destroyed by Europeans in the playoffs, Giannis in 2021, Luka in 22, now Jokic in 23. Aside from that problem, the main problem with the Suns is that they've traded depth for superstardom, and this is exactly what happened to the Nets a couple years
the
ago.
Nets, exactly.
And
look how that's worked out.
Yeah, I know.
Arnav can testify to that.
Yeah.
But I'd argue the Nets are in a far better position this year than they were last
I
year.
agree. They've been so much more fun to watch.
Yeah,
And
I think
it's not like they've been so successful
No,
with all the superstars
forget
anyway.
about the fun to watch part. They made the playoffs without having to rely on superstars.
Exactly.
Nets have a good future.
Yeah.
The problem with the Suns right now,
And Mikal Bridges, too.
yeah, like the problem with Phoenix right now is that they traded away their entire team for old grandpas who are really good. Like Kevin Durant's still a top 5 player. There's no question of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Chris Chris Paul is like 40 something, has like $45 million a year, and he gets injured every 5 games. And DeAndre Ayton is absolutely useless.
Mhm. Well, it was really good discussing with you guys. I don't think we have much time left. So you guys want to do the closing out segment?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for listening. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week with more, but yeah, this has been the first episode of the starting lineup, and so we'll see you guys next week, and be sure to listen. Thanks for
Thank you
watching.
so much.
Ciao.